Hello, hello, hello. Hello everyone. This is Wei. And in my life, I would really like to know if I'm live. The setup actually took me a while, so I tried to figure out if I have the setup correct. And yeah, today is the OpenLive3D design tracking, and you can see the date, right? This is 2021, August 25th. And this is the date when we started to develop OpenLive3D, and I actually have the original design document. So the design document that we're currently seeing now is the OpenLive3D back in more than 2 years ago, right? So originally, the structure is like this. Right, so this is the original plan structure. We have the camera connected to the media source manager. And after the media source manager is connected, the controller will try to get frames from the media source. We get the video and we get it frame by frame, right? And the frame will be sent it to the facial landmark recognizer. Facial landmark recognizer is basically something related to machine learning, which we are currently running. Originally, as you can see, we just plan to have facial landmark. And currently what we're using right now is called holistic model, which is not just facial landmark, but also, yeah, we can see that we have our hand tracking as well, right? So the current machine learning structure is a lot larger than what I thought it would be as well. And then after we get this done, we will have uh, the 3D model loaded from the VRM, right? So the VRM format is the format that we're supported. The model manager will be able to get the 3D model, load it into controller, and the controller will be able to have those models rendered from our GUI, the Live 3D GUI, right? So that's the original plan. And we also have a state manager that try to manage some of the state within the visualization, such as the motion of the model, and also some of the live state, the current position of the model, the current rotation of the model, things like that. And we also have a configuration manager that is managing such as the background color, and also maybe uh, like some of the detection factor, the motion of the model is also a parameter that you can set. That is also controlled by the config manager. And you can see that there's also an effect manager on the bottom left, which we actually never used. This is planned to have effects such as the firing effect, such as grayscale effect, but yeah, we never have time to either never have time to tackle it, or I just never think that this is something that we should do because some of the effect is actually already covered by the OBS Studio, like the one that I'm currently using. So what went wrong with the structure, right? So what went wrong? That we will need a rewrite, a complete rewrite to figure this out. What went wrong is basically it is a lot more complicated than I thought. From this structure that we're seeing here, we can see that I thought the controller will just be a connector, try to connect different functions. And when different modules return their result, it will actually be very clean that the controller will be able to just get the result, send it to another module, and then get the result from another modules and send it to somewhere else. And apparently that is completely not true. Especially when you're trying to get the facial landmark recognizer. Here we're listening here. Uh, the machine learning model, basically. We're trying to get the machine learning model to send out its result and convert that into a motion vector or into a blend shape that can control our 3D model. It is a lot more complicated than just getting input and send us output. Right? So at the end, our controller is so big and so hard to maintain that is basically impossible to anyone other than me to jump in to start coding with it. And also for the 3D rendering part, for the Live3D GUI, it is also slightly more complicated than I thought. So we actually have part of the GUI scattered also inside controller, which is just lazy for me to do it. I can actually do it a lot cleaner, but yeah, I was too lazy. So yeah, the current code is just a mess, and we have to clean it up somehow someday. Since I'm about to quit my current job or like retire basically, so we got time. So since we got time, let's just rewrite it. Right. So the one of the hello. We actually got audience here. I never thought that anyone would tune in. Hello, Ghost Web. So yeah, we're talking about the original design back in 2021, and we're listing down the original design, some of the faults, and we will like to rewrite it, right? So here we can also see like some of the original planned functions. So these are the original planned function. We actually have most of them finished, right? So here we're seeing that in terms of state, in terms of configuration, we actually mix these two together. So configuration is mixed together completely with the state. And here, the idea is that this software will basically just be a change of state, right? And we're trying to change the different state of the camera, try to change different state of the 3D model. We're trying to change different state of how we can capture, right? Let me move in a bit. How we can capture a different threshold from our video capture and turn these thresholds into our model movement, right? So these are the original plan. We had completed all of them basically, and yes, some of the things there are still things that can be done. For example, for the cameras options, currently we do have things that are captured. We are able to select camera, of course, but the camera setting can also be tuned in the 3D theme for some of the effect, and those are not tunable currently. Yeah, but those are not in the original plan. So in regard to the original plan, we have basically completed everything. Right. So for the next one, we have the controller functions. So these are basic controls, which we also have. We're just using the control from the 3JS or 3VRN format that supported some of the ordinal control that we can just control the camera. And here, what we want to have is that we can initialize everything and then we start to run everything, right? That is basically the idea. So in this original design document, we basically have everything finished. And other than this one, right? So the other functions are optional functions that I thought we could do. We of course have all the cameras listed and able to select cameras. We of course have the machine learning model that can be loaded and can also be selected, right? Currently we only have two models. One is the facial landmark model. One is the holistic model that can track our hand. And we can also select our machine learning model. And then we also have the config manager that is set together with our UI, right? So this is the original plan. We have it. The things that we don't actually complete it is this one, effect manager, right? We never touch effect, like what I said. I found that some of the effect that can be easily applied, such as grayscale, is already supported by the OBS Studio. right? So this is why we never completed it. The 3D model manager, we can list and load 3D model. This is actually not completed yet, right? So we have the low VRM model part, but we never complete the list model part, right? So we never have a way to list all our available 3D model. This is something that actually plan to support, but not with the website version. So in this rewrite, one of the ideas is that we will also like to increase our support for the app part, for the Electron app part, and we would like to separate the GUI from our website and our app. In order to do the separation, we'll need to separate the core, such as the machine learning core, and especially the machine learning result turning into blend shape and 3D model movement part into a new repository so that we can have a cleaner separation from the current website version and also the Electron version, right? So we plan to have a better like support for the Electron as well. For the camera, uh, canvas, zoom, rotate, these are already supported uh, by the original version, and have a effect this. Yeah, this is something that we actually never tackled. Cool. So let's see what originally in the design the UI looked like, and it looked like this, right? So it looked more ugly than than the actual design, right? So this is basically the design that I wrote, that I designed in the PowerPoint, right? So we're currently looking at PowerPoint, and yeah, and well, mm, let's say in terms of function, we're far better than this, and in terms of yeah, we got better functionality, and we also got better looking than the original design. So that's it. That's what we had in terms of original design, right? So let's start our new design. Let's start the new design, and let's create a new page, code 2023 and 911. Cool, right? So we're starting a new design, and the first thing that we'll need to know is we'll need to list down the current architecture, right? So what will be very important is that we actually have an inventory of the current architecture, and after we inventory all these architecture, we can start thinking what need to be done, because the problem is the original design is like this, but nowadays it is never this anymore, right? So we have to look at the code and actually see what are in there, right? So let me start a new subline. Yeah, let me start a new subline and actually see what is inside our code. And let me also add this to the OBS tracker in the smaller screen, so we can have this. Let me see, Sublime, OpenLive3D. Great. Nice. Okay. Then make it smaller. Where do I put it? Let me. Okay. Forget about a PowerPoint. Let's just go through the code. Right. So yeah, let's go through code. So interestingly, we know that this is our code, right? So this is the OpenLive3D GitHub IO. So this is our code. Let's make it a little bit larger. And for this OpenLive3D GitHub IO code, we have the src and we have CSS and also JavaScript, right? So inside JavaScript, we need to list down everything that we have, right? So we know that there is a controller, right? And controller now got some very stupid things inside it, right? So we have the control manager. Let's see how long that is. It's not long. It's not very long, right? It's just 700, around 700 lines of code. And inside this, we got motion turning into blend shape, right? So here we have motion turning into blend shape. And okay, so we know that it's complicated because for low VRM model, this is a large function that shouldn't be inside the controller, right? So this initialization and also the loop, they should be inside controller. They are fine. But for example, update mouth and eyes, and we got complex large logic for how to control the 3D model, and they are currently inside controller as well. That is just shouldn't be how it works, right? So we should definitely rewrite this part into a smaller function. And we also got interpolator, interpolator, and this is a function that I wrote for the math to work. So I try to have many, I try to have other types of interpolation using some other functions, some other libraries that others developed, but it never worked well. So I have to write my own interpolator, which is a large. It's not too large, but it's also a large function, and it shouldn't be inside the controller as well, right? So we should be able to separate, have a better separation in terms of how our model how to control our 3D model motion. And here is a very interesting code called arm magic. And this is how we track our arms, right? So this is how we track our arms. And this is completely magic, right? So because interestingly, the 3D model that the machine learning model that we use actually return, it kind of try to return the 3D axis of our hands, but that 3D axis is very far off, especially for the Z axis, right? So we can have the X axis and Y axis correct, but for the Z axis, like in the front or back, it is just very far off. So we have to have a magic to use some like math calculation to try to actually figure a way to calculate the z-axis, right? So given these, we know that the controller is just far beyond the original plan, right? The configuration, let's go through it. For the configuration part, we will also like to have some separation, right? Because for the configuration part, most part, yes, it is a configuration, no problem. But there are some part that we're trying to connect to the API. For logging, if you allow logging in your settings, this is not this is actually by default. This is not open, right? This is not open by default. But the API connections should also be separated from the configuration as well, right? So that's this down as what we go as we're going through it. That's this down this process inside our PowerPoint, right? So we know that inside the controller, how do I make it clear, right? So inside the controller, let's sure make it bigger. And we know that the config and config manager, let's go somewhere here. We still have the 3D part. let's handle this complexity later, right? So inside this, let's make the app a lot larger. Current state. Inside this app, we're having this not just facial landmark recognizer, but also we have a holistic model, right? So we have a holistic recognizer. And in facial landmark recognizer and holistic recognizer, we're trying to connect to controller, which our controller currently is large. And our controller currently will connect to, let's turn this into gray. Okay. Yeah. Because we actually never use our effect manager. Right. So inside this controller, we can see that what we just saw, arm magic. Right. So arm magic and also interpolator and the controller part, right? So controller and the main controller. Let's put it main controller. Right, so this is what is currently inside our controller. We got 3 different parts. Cool. So let's continue to go through the other parts of the code. Right, so for other parts of the code, let's see, arm magic interpolator, yes. For configuration, we got configuration manager, no problem with that. Effect, we never use. Okay. Sorry. Effect, we never use it. So we just got the readme there. For entry, what is entry? Okay. So for entry manager, we're trying to we're trying to check if the user is coming from mobile, it's coming from browser, it's coming from Electron, right? So for entry manager, this is interesting. I think we still need it. We still need it to detect the mobile or browser entry. And for mobile or browser entry, we will try to maybe have a different settings. Because we could be able to also use that in mobile as well. But the video recording part will be way harder. But we could possibly tackle this, right? So that's added. That's added to the current state. So inside the current state, we're also having entry detection. Right, so entry detection. This is tricky. Let's change the slide to greater one. Okay, so we have an entry detection somewhere here, right? Because this is from the end user part. Why this connection is okay. Okay. Entry manager. Right, so we have an entry manager here as well. Okay, just put it like this. And then let's go through, further go through the code. Let's see. And after entry manager, we have GUI. And inside GUI, we have GUI layout and multi-language. So these are the two modules that we currently have. That's added later, and see the landmark, right? So this is the difficult part. Yeah, yeah, it's hard to check the landmark. Hmm. Yeah, the worker. Yes, yes. Yeah, so this is where things got complicated, right? Because the facial landmark, how do we turn facial landmark into 3D model movement? There are just so many part of it. and there are just no good solution, and yeah, the code is just so messy. We have to figure a way to tackle it. Okay, let's separate this out. Let's first change the the GUI, right? So we know that inside GUI there are two parts. One is the oh I'm blocking the stream. I'm blocking the screen. Let's make my model. Whoa. Okay, let's make my model a lot smaller. Nice. All right, so we know that inside GUI there are two parts. One is the multi-language, and then another one is the GUI control. And yeah, it is actually more complicated than this, but let's just put it this way. Because we have some part of the GUI control inside our controller as well. So that is bad, but yeah. List down everything that we have and we'll try to get them ready after. Right, so we move these here. Okay, so we know that for the facial landmark recognizer and holistic recognizer, it is just so much complex than we thought it would be. And I think what we need to do is that we have to tackle that later. Right, so let's check the model manager first. So in the model manager, let's open the stream. Inside the model manager, right, landmark, check it later. Inside the model manager, we just have one model manager. That's great. And yeah, we're trying to load the VRM model. That's wonderful. Inside media manager, we're trying to get the camera working, which is also great. I don't see a problem with that. Great. It means that we basically have two things clear. And let's just make then let's just tackle. Yeah, the only thing that we need to tackle right now will be the landmark. So let's check what is inside our landmark. Right, so within our landmark we have face key to turn facial landmark into head movement and facial recognition movement. And we have hand key to try to turn hand landmark into hand movement. Good. Face key, hand key. And we have a pose key to turn our pose, body pose into the 3D model pose as well. That's good. Face key, hand key, pose key. Great. So let me change the PowerPoint. Alrighty. Sorry, I have to adjust some of the views in real time. It's just how it is. Okay. How do I make it? Right. So let's make it a lot larger than we currently have. And we actually don't have a state manager, right? So let's just delete this. Turn it down. Great. And let's put it ML landmark recognizer. And it's quite large. Maybe not as large as we put it, but let's put it like this. Yep. Wonderful. Okay, so we have our controller connect to the landmark recognizer, and inside landmark recognizer we have face key. We have hand key. Let's put a dash. And we have pose key. So these keys are important as a way to turn the 3D model recognition into model movement, right? So we know that. And other than this, we have a landmark main landmark decode. Nah, code. Okay, so we have a main landmark code, right? So let's just check a little bit. Yes, so these are the 4 modules that we listed inside our landmark. But actually, things are not as simple as we thought. Right, so we have these 4 listed here. But let's check the code again. Let me show you the ugly part. The ugly part is that inside our landmark manager, the main landmark code, we have here holistic workers equals to new worker, holistic worker. Face worker equals to new worker, facial worker. What does it mean? It means that inside our code, we got the face mesh and holistic. And inside these two, we got worker file, and we got JavaScript files, and we got different model files as well, right? So we actually still have a facial landmark code here, which is sad. That's what I would say, which is very sad. The reason why we're having code like scattered around is because this is the only way to have multi-thread working, and we need this to be separated like this so that we can have the multi-thread set up for holistic model and also facial landmark model, right? So we have the face mesh and holistic worker and main tracker file, and so this is the main tracker file. The reason why we are having the main machine learning code file, the parser file, separated is also because we need to modify this file because the file originally directly from Google, from MediaPipe, cannot be set as multi-thread. So we also need to modify this file to make it a multi-thread. So we have to do some hacking. And that's what we have to list down. So we have to list down. How do we do it? Yeah, let's just put it this way. So we have to list down Yeah, let's just put these to the right more. Oh, let me check back to the PowerPoint one. Okay. And we have to make it bigger even. Okay. Okay. So we have face mesh, and we have holistic, right? So we have face mesh, we have holistic, and we have the worker file for them. Let's just put it here, face mesh worker, holistic worker. Great. That's wonderful. We actually have the inventory of all our code. And this is the current structure. And let's see how we can make it better. Right? So let's see. We have... Okay, so see, we're not using this. Let's delete that. We have the model manager managing VRM file. I think it's good. We have the media source manager. I don't think we need to change it. The controller itself is working reasonable. That we just need to separate a lot of functions from the main controller, which is currently the ugly part. So we have to list. We will probably need to understand what is inside the main controller as well, but we don't need to do that right now. I think we can do that after. So the main thing that we'll probably need to rewrite, just in terms of code, will be how we handle our landmark recognizer. Right? So this is the ugly part. And yeah. With this inventory, I think we're making it a lot more clear what is done correctly and what has been done wrong and what need to be changed. Hope I make it clear. And yes, this is the current state. So with this current state knowledge, let's also list down what we will like to have in terms of features. Right, so let's open a new page. Let's see. Features. By the way, any request? Oh, why am I using? I'm using PowerPoint. Yeah, I'm just using PowerPoint. So yeah, just PowerPoint. Right. So let's list down the features. So from the request, we know the first thing, clean structure. Why we're developing this, and also with cleaner structure, we are able to let's have a third party blend shape in API. Integratable with third party is not a word. Okay. Can have integration with third party blend shape API. Right. So this is something that we also like to do. Cleaner structure, have third party blend shape API. Any other ideas? So shader. Huh. Okay, let's put it first. Okay, shaders. Interesting. So, uh, you want to import. Oh, cool. Please. Mm-hmm. There was a new trend. So change the color of the surroundings, which look very cool. Okay. So one question. Thanks. So yeah, having a sample videos on Discord would be great. Uh, what I would like to know is that you want to define the shader code, right? Because shaders is also something that is pretty much a code, right? So we want to be able to import shaders code. So we're opening up a shader editor, and you can import the shader code and make it as an effect. Is that what you want? Or we just have different predefined shader that we can select? Or we can discuss that later. Cool. Okay, shader. That's an interesting thing. Uh, right. Okay, so the predefined one is what the one that you're talking about. Same as for the color thing. Okay, then it's probably predefined, right? Because we have a color picker to just select the color. Predefined as well as custom. Okay, interesting. I think we could potentially make it work. Right, I can make it as a optional goal for this one. It would be an interesting topic, I guess. I think it would be an interesting topic. Color or lighting, but color or lighting is different. Okay. Cool. Let's check the video because we're already in the 3D sim, right? Here we're already in the 3D sim. The model is 3D, and the light is 3D, right? So here inside the 3D theme, we're just defining one front light from the front. So we just have one light. So if we can add more light and also colorful light, then we are basically having different colors. And cool. So you are going to send it via the Discord? Dynamic lighting. Okay. Let's see. Interesting. I'm watching the video right now. Okay. Hmm. Oh, interesting. Okay. Blur, sharp, flare, camera. Okay. Cool. All right. I think I pretty much understand the effect right now. Yeah. So this is okay. I think I will have to make this video as my reference for the further development. And great. Let's definitely make it as a target for sure. Nice. Okay. Shaders, tunable visual effect. Yeah, I think this is definitely possible to integrate it with 3D. So yeah, let's create a reference page. and add the link that you share. And also the second one. I haven't checked the second one, but I'm guessing it would be similar, and we can check it later. Right. Great. Okay, so let's get back. So cleaner structure have integration with 3D Blanchett API, shader, and also better support for Electron. Right. So with better support, that sounds cool. Cool, 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 cool. Great. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so better support for Electron. What I mean basically is separation of core ML with UI, right? So for Electron, I think we'll need the its own UI. And we have to do the code separation. And from the code separation, we already know that from our structure, these two part. I'm not sure if controller should also go. I don't think controller should go. I think controller should be together with the UI, and we also have a lot of part in the UI that just scatter inside the controller as well. So this part shouldn't be separated out. But the ARM Magic interpolator, they can be together with the core part, right? So I want to separate this part as a separated code repository, and have everything else be separated for Electron and also the website. So that's a one. And also, I think we can have single thread option. Because the current problem of mobile is that when we try to run multi-thread, which is what we're currently doing, it doesn't support it, right? So if we have single thread, I think it's possible that we run it on mobile. So yeah, single thread option, another part, but I still have to check. Not sure if it will work, but yeah, we can check support mobile and single thread support mobile. What else? Hmm. Maybe better UI? Better GUI? Yeah. Yeah, I think we need a better GUI, of course. But it's hard to. Yeah, I'm not a designer. I don't think I can make it better. But anyway, put it as optional. Other than this, what else? Single thread. Oh yeah, video recording. Direct video recording. Uh, right. So why we're saying video recording, or while we already have OBS, is because yeah, optional. Is because if we have mobile supported, right, and you are using your mobile phone and OpenLive3D to 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 capture your face. Yeah, if you are using mobile phone to capture your face, then I don't know how. it's not meaningful anyway, right? So you need a video recording. Okay, let's separate this out. Mobile support, check. If single thread is working on mobile, then we can have direct video recording, right? I think that makes more sense. Yeah, on mobile only. And yeah, what else? I think it's already quite a lot, right? It's already quite a lot. And the cleaner structure have two parts. One is a cleaner uh, structure itself, because currently the structure is not clean. It's very dirty. And also the better support for Electron with the separation of core ML with UI. This is also a cleaner structure, right? So, right, cool. Okay, I think we can still separate them as 2 point. Sometime then you can make your own blend shape API app on mobile to use with Live3D. Blend shape. Oh, okay. To use with Live3D. I get what you mean, but if you have already have a laptop open, you should just use your laptop, right? I mean, uh, yeah. I don't see why, if you already have a laptop open, you shouldn't just use your laptop. Except you don't have a webcam, right? But if you don't have a webcam, there are programs that already do blend shape capture, right? So yeah, I get the idea, but yeah, it's probably not that necessary though. Yeah. Anyway, that could potentially work as well. Okay, so let's put it this way. Can have integrated with 3PD Blanchet API, have a demo API. Sorry. Direct video recording or integrated as 3PD. As blend shape API. Right. So yeah, let's just put it very late in the very at the bottom of the to-do list. I don't think we will do it, but yeah, put it here. Cool. Other ideas? Nice. I think that's good enough. Okay. So for the cleaner structure part, we will have to delete it because this is not a feature. This is code quality uh, improvement, right? So this is not a feature. So let's just remove that. So we have integrated with 3PD shader, and then let's prioritize it, right? So this is something that I would like to prioritize first. Support for Electron, better support for Electron. Let's separate this out. Right, separate the core uh, of ML core with UI. Better support for Electrons. Uh, let's put it as separate Electron UI from the web. Right, so here there are some two separations that will lead us to a better code. Cool. See you. And have better integration with 3PD shader, single thread option. Single thread option, let's move it higher. I think single thread option is higher. And other than single thread, full body capture, is that something that we will want? Full body capture. Of course, that would be quite a difficult part for us to tune, since we will also have to modify some of the UI part for full body capture. But yes, this is something that we should also be able to work it out. Great. Other than these, anything else? I think we're pretty much good to go, right? Yes, I think we're good. Great, so these are the features, and then from these features, the next thing that we can discuss is what are the expected timeline? Yes, timeline. So for timeline, let's see. Separate core. Let's see the difficulty of these as well, right? So for core ML with UI, okay, let's list down the timeline here. I've created a new page with timeline, and let's just get the sub items removed as well. So for timeline, we should be able to finish everything. Okay, so separation of core ML with UI, let's do it tomorrow. Will I be able to do it tomorrow? Let's see. Right, let's use it tomorrow then. Let's give it some buffer, 2 days, and separate. Okay, separate Electron UI from the web. Let's give it. Okay, this is another interesting part. Let's give it 1 day. We should be able to finish this within 1 day. Okay. And single thread option. Ooh, single thread option. This is interesting. Single thread option. I'm not sure if I can finish that within 1 day. Okay, let's just put it this way. So these 3 items are week 1. I will probably not work in the weekend because I got pretty burned out recently. So these 3 items, week 1, makes sense. Okay. And then week 2, for body capture better UI. Okay. Let's work it like this. And let's set the day after, right? So we're not like in the actual schedule or anything. So let's set it like this. Separate core ML with UI. Separate Electron UI from web. Single thread option. This is what we would like to accomplish within this week. Just within this week. And that is actually could be challenging. So let's just try to start working on them. Great. Any other topics that we would like to discuss? How many do we actually got any viewer other than Ghost Web? Let me check If we actually got any viewer other than Ghostweb, no, great. That's great. That's great. So which means like for today, this is basically what we come up with. And for today, we would like to, this is the design and the plan, right? So I might start to check the code in terms of how we can actually separate them. We see the structure, it is ugly and right now, and we would like to make it a lot better. And I will probably check the code today as well, before the rewrite tomorrow, and let's start work on it. And by this week, hopefully, we'll be able to have everything listed in week one finished. Have the core ML part separated, have the Electron UI separated, and also have the single thread option, which can be critical for the mobile support. And that's great. I think we got things cool. I think we pretty much got everything. And that's it for today. And yeah, thanks everyone. Bye bye.